Here's a Master Fans. Today we are building a donation computer. This one is going to be for a local community home that is in need of something for their library. So we're going to get them a monitor, we're going to get them a tower. They have all the peripherals, but we're going to test this LG monitor first and just see if it works. This one came in on a recent recycle. I was told that it still works. Just looking to see if there's a button here to turn it on. Got it plugged in. Screen looks good. It's a little dusty, just needs a wipe off, but let's find the button and turn it on. Okay, so the button on these right in the center here. And with one press, I see no action. Let's try holding it down. And nothing. So we might not have a good monitor. All right, oldest trick in the IIT book. Unplug it, plug it back in. Luckily, everything seems to be working here, so we have a good monitor. Let's go ahead and find a tower that'll suit their needs. Okay, so I've got quite a few to choose from that are still waiting to be processed. But I have my eye set on this i7 here. A couple of reasons for that. One, this is a Cooler Master case, so it's a custom build, most likely. I'm going to guess it's probably budget, but not 100% sure on that. i7s should be pretty upgradable depending on the motherboard inside, so I have a few of them. If it needs a new chip, we can definitely take care of that. And what they're working with right now is a Core 2 Duo, so this should be a big upgrade from whatever they had to something much more modern. So let's get it out of the pile and see how it works. All right, so first things first on this one. This is a Windows 7 Pro build from back in the day. We have no peripherals to speak of, which is good. We don't want to give them anything too complicated just because more failure points, essentially. But we do have high-definition video, standard VGA, and the typical build on the back, which is good because that should match everything they've got in terms of keyboard, mouse, and such. Power supply looks good and clean, not too dusty on the fan, needs a little bit of a cleanup, but this should be good. Let's take a look inside and give this a bit of a spritz. Okay, so good news, everything inside looks really clean. I actually really like this case, a lot of nice expansion bays in here. We do have 2 hard drives, which is unnecessary. They don't want to have room for anybody to save anything because this is going to be a public computer, so we'll get one of those out of there. The only concern I have right now is we do have a bad cap on the board. That shouldn't be too bad to go ahead and swap. Everything else looks pretty clean. We'll get a look at that processor, take a look at the battery, make sure that's working. It's fully loaded with RAM, which is good. And it does actually have all the configuration information here in the case, which is also important because if they don't want me to come in and service this at any point and want somebody else to do it, everything should be in here if they want to have anybody make any changes. And certainly I'm always willing to help, but definitely they should have the autonomy to do whatever they want with it. So we'll go ahead and get this started. Cable management's in a really nice spot. This is a pretty good power supply, the Seasonic here, for what they're going to use this for. I think we're looking in pretty good shape. So all we'll have to really address is this cap, a good clean out, and figure out which drive is bootable. I did take the back panel off so we can blow everything out of here and get this nice and clean for him. Okay, so now we've got the board out of the case. We can see we've got 16 gig of Kingston DDR3 memory in here. We'll get a look at the processor, but the cap here is definitely needing replacement. That's 1000 microfarad, 16 volt, which in our little cheapo cap kit, we've got plenty. And it looks like, just based on everything else, that's our only real fault point right now. We will get the proc out, clean that up, and get some fresh paste on it. If we need to swap it for something a little better, we can. But I have a feeling we probably got a pretty decent chip in there. I'm just checking all the other caps while I'm talking. But I don't see anything else. Everything else looks good. Not sure on this battery. We'll probably check that on boot because that's easy enough to swap. I got plenty of those coin cells laying around, so we can always get one in there. So let's get started on the processor. Okay, with the cooler off and the chip cleaned up you can see we've got a Core i7-2680, so second generation. I'm going to double check the specs on this board and just see what we might be able to upgrade this to, just in case I have an i7 handy. The first one I found that I had was a 5th gen, and I'm going to guess that's not going to work in this slot, but I might have a 4th gen or something. I'll have to look up the specs on this board real quick. And we've got the soldering station ready to go, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that cap first thing. Okay, so after a little bit of research here, this DB65AL is actually only compatible with these 2nd gen processors, which is fine. Don't need to upgrade it. It should be fast enough. This one is a 3.4 gigahertz and with fully loaded RAM. I think we'll be doing just fine. So let's go ahead and just fix this processor, or excuse me, this capacitor. Okay, so good news. It looks like we didn't get a lot of electrolyte damage on the back end, and here's the old cap, which looks like everything bubbled out the top, so I think we're going to be alright in terms of board damage. Let's go ahead and just give this a quick rub off with some IPA before we get the new cap threaded, and then we'll solder it on, and then we can start reassembly. Alright, just like that, we've got ourselves a new capacitor in place. You can see it's just different looking than the other ones on the board, but it's the same capacitance and everything. And just looking over here, we've got a little bit of dust all over this, so we're going to take just a nice little nylon brush and brush all the dust we can get off of this, give it a good blowout, and let's start reassembly and see if we can test this thing. Alright, so we've got everything wired back up. It's just time to grease the processor, then we'll connect some power, figure out which of the hard drives is the boot drive, get that swapped out, and make sure it's got Windows 10. This is going to be a Windows 10 machine because it's not going to be Windows 11 capable, but it doesn't matter. Again, this is basically just a browse and surf computer, so it's going to fit their needs just fine. Alright, so we got some Arctic MX4 on the processor here. Everything's cleaned up pretty good. I got a little dust on this fan in here. We can do one final blow up before we ship it off to them. But everything's set up, so we can get this connected to a monitor. The only thing is the monitor I was going to use doesn't have DVI, it only has HDMI, and I don't have many converters, so we're actually just going to get a different monitor, and we'll use this one on another. Let's test out another monitor. Alright, we got a SyncMaster 216BW. This one's pretty dirty, but I don't think it's any scratch because I cleaned off the parts I thought were scratched, and they seem to be okay. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned up and test it out. Alright, after a rough clean, this turned out much, much better. It does have the tiniest little scratch here, but it should be adequate for what they need. And there's a little bit of like greasy residue here. I think I can clean that off, but if not, it's just a faceplate. We'll do another deeper final clean before we get this off to them. But so far, so good. This should be a nice little DVI monitor. Let's get everything plugged in and give it a test. All right, everything's plugged in. Monitor's cleaned up. I see we got a power LED on the monitor. Off button works. On button works. All right, we got display. Everything's plugged in here. We'll hit the power button. Nothing there, which means the switch on the power supply is off. And so far so good. Everything seems to be powering up fine. And we've got a good boot. So our replacement cap seems to be good. Checksum error, time not set, so we need a battery. That's fine. We can figure that out as we go. I got a keyboard and mouse attached, looking good. Oop, we got an auto shut off. All right. That's interesting. I think since we've got that going, let's swap that battery and then see what we've got going. Could be a memory issue. All right, we've got a fresh battery in there. We'll go ahead and flip our switch and let it fire up on its own here. Auto power off. Okay. It's a 1 and a 2. Sometimes it does that with a new CMOS battery. Can be an auto power off with the CMOS battery as well. Okay, time not set. Check some error. Battery failure were detected. So we swapped the battery, so that does make sense. Looking at Windows, seems to be loading. Holding the breath here for no power failures. And so far so good. And this should be configured on Windows 10 for just a simple user 1 setup, which is a blank, unless somebody had their information on this, in which case we'll just wipe it. But it looks pretty standard. There we go, user 1, so it should be blank. And hopefully we'll have antivirus suite and stuff on here, which they were asking for, which is just going to be your basic CC cleaner, things like that. But so far so good. Let's let this boot up and see what kind of specs we're working with. Okay, so everything's great. We got a Windows 10 Pro setup here. This has got that 2nd gen i7 at 3.44 core gigahertz. Actually, this is built out pretty well. It's all blank, so everything is in a good spot to basically get this off to them. Just looking this over here, all 16 gigabytes of memory are working just fine. So we're in a good spot to turn this over. It, of course, needs time and date set up, but it's an x64 system and should have pretty much everything it needs right out of the box. Really pleased with this. I'll just have to identify our hard drive setup and figure out which one we're going to be removing. Because again, they actually specifically said, I don't want extra space for people to save stuff on here. And just looking at this, I'm only reading one hard disk, which is kind of unusual. Yeah, it's actually very strange because we certainly have 2 distinct hard drives in here. I'm gonna guess one failed, and that was our auto power off. So let's just take a look at the properties on this and see if it gives us a good name. Hardware. Okay, so we got an ST3100 and an ST500. All right, so we'll have to see. I'm going to guess that we are pretty much set up the way we're going to need to be, but we'll figure out which hard disk we need to remove. This one is a 500 gigabytes, so should be pretty straightforward as long as they're 2 different sizes, and if they're not, we'll just boot test it until we figure it out. Okay, so we removed the hard drive I think is not working, which is a terabyte Seagate. I didn't even hear it making sound, so I'm going to guess that was our issue. And that probably caused the auto shutoff. But the good news is the 500 gigabyte is still in there and does appear to be the correct machine. So let's go ahead and fire this up. Let's see here. I hit the power button and now it's not wanting to turn on. So let's try it again. Okay, well, now we have a new issue. Let's figure this out. Okay, so fix the problem. It was interesting. This front panel is not color-coded to this board, so I actually had to read the little plug labels to figure out why the power button suddenly stopped working. Originally, it was just shorted, so that jumped it, but now power button works just fine, and the hard drive light is responding the way it should. And everything boots as normal. All right, everything's getting set up. They'll have their own public user account with no password and an admin protected password. The motherboard repair is holding up well. No issues at all. Everything's staying nice and cool with that new thermal paste. We've got the hard drive isolated to just what it needs. And everything seems to be working really well. I think they're going to be really happy with this machine. If you like this content, please follow the channel, hit that subscribe button, drop me a comment. Do you like these retro builds? Do you donate PCs to charities and other parties interested that would like something on a budget or free, as this one will be for these folks? Certainly would love to hear from you. I'm Urza Master. Have a great day.